What up, everyone? So, we're going to have a couple of short reviews here for some smaller boxes, new boxes nonetheless, but the next few are going to be book and comic book boxes. This one is Comic Boxer. So, Comic Block for a while was just comic books. I thought it was okay, but I was curious to what other companies there were out there, and I think other people on the channel were too, so people have asked if there are any other options out there, so I decided to try a few out this month. So, let's take a look at this box and see what we got. Obviously, it doesn't look like we have a lot because it seems awfully thin, but we shall see. So we got a little note in here. There's a bug inside. How long has that bug been in there, and how far did he travel? That is funny. I hope he didn't eat the comics. Okay, so, got some nicely wrapped stuff here. And it looks like we got a few comics. Looks like they're all wrapped together, so let's pull this out. Alrighty. That. So our first book looks like X-Men, Extraordinary X-Men. Cool. So this looks like a futuristic version of X-Men. I'm sure it has something to do with the Age of Apocalypse series. So yeah, it looks like them kind of in the future from what I can tell from the cover. Yeah, it looks like an awesome series. And surprisingly enough, I haven't really gotten any X-Men comics in all the comic blocks I've gotten. They usually stick to the more obscure series, but that's cool. I like X-Men. That works for me. Next, looks like we have one from Valiant, Archer and Armstrong. One I've never heard of before. But the cover looks like it's like the CGC rated cover, but that's cool. Never heard of it, but I've heard of Valiant Comics before, because they were in a recent comic block that we did. That's cool too. Alrighty. Next, The Discipline from Image. So those of you who don't know, Image is the #3 comic distributor in the world, or last time I checked. I think it goes, from what I think it's Marvel, DC, Image, and then probably IDW or something like that. But I'm a big fan of Image. That's where Todd McFarlane was one of the pioneer people from that company, so I always like that. Seems like a cool comic, has a cool cover. No idea what it's about, but I'll have to check it out and read it for myself. Then, looks like we got, seems to be two, okay. These are sealed together. It says, has Batman Superman cover, and it says number 50. So I'm guessing this is two separate issues. I'm hesitant to open it because it has such nice wrapping. But I'm assuming that it's Batman number 50 and Superman number 50. Now these were in Comic Block, if I'm not mistaken. They had exclusive covers. So the number 50 of each series have to do with each other. I think there's a crossover of some kind, which makes sense why they would have this on there. And that's why they're sealed together, because I can feel two comics. So I can only assume it's Batman and Superman, each number 50. But I like that they sealed it that way. That's really cool. It has a nice little cover seal there. That's very nice. Alrighty. And our last comic. So it looks like International Iron Man. And it also looks like this is signed. Signed by who? Marco de Alfonso. And I'm guessing he is, the cover artist. That's really cool. So we got a signed issue in there, and we got a little certificate of authenticity on the back. That's really awesome. I enjoy that thoroughly. So I don't see a description card in here of any kind. I'll have to read the little letter they included. Maybe that describes them. They didn't have pictures on there or anything, but that probably is it. But that's awesome. I totally didn't expect that they would have something signed in there. That already beat my expectations of this box, but that's really cool. So obviously this box seems small, but it's strictly comic books, so it makes sense that it's this size to kind of make sure everything arrives safely, which I think is very smart, actually, when you think about it. But yeah, that's all the comics in there. So let's take a little break. I'll read the little description card and see what they say about each issue, and then I'll look up some values, and then we'll go from there and give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back. Let's talk about some value on these books. First of all, the bagged Batman issue. I was wrong on that. I thought it was 2 issues, but it is actually 1 issue that just had some boards packed in there with it. But I was right, it is Batman number 50 like I assumed. So, but it also said on the front. I wasn't going to open it, but it actually said on the description paper there that there was an option to get a signed one, so my curiosity definitely outweighed everything else, so I wanted to see if I got maybe anything signed, so I opened it up. But it's cool they do give that option, so I'm guessing this is a promotion they did for this issue. They probably had a couple 10,000 of these put in there, and a handful of them had signed stuff. So the odds of getting it are probably really slim, but it's still cool that you even have the option though, and it looked really nice all coming together like that. So this is the cover issue that was in there. And this issue, as this series, is also a big deal because it was Greg Capullo and someone else that did this series. So that was a big one. So we've seen that issue come up more than once before. Next, The Discipline. So this one I really couldn't find much information on. I'm guessing this is a foreign title only because that I couldn't find anything in the U.S. I could only find things for sale overseas, like international stuff. I could be wrong on that, but those are the only ones I found. But this is going to go for right around $8 if you don't include the shipping in that. Maybe this just isn't a popular enough issue. Maybe people aren't selling it. I'm not quite sure on that part of it. But if you don't include shipping in that, the international prices were around $8, which is what I would probably put it at. But if you include shipping, that's a different story. But anyway, right around 8 on that. Then, the Archer and Armstrong. This one was going for about 8 to 10. This is a variant as well, the CGC variant they have on there. The good news about this box is they do at least have a lot of variants. It's not just random comics, they actually make it so it's for readers and collectors alike. So you're not just getting totally random issues, you're actually getting variants of those issues, which are slightly rarer, slightly more expensive. So that's cool. I like that they're appealing to collectors and they're also appealing to just normal comic readers. Then, where did I put it? Extraordinary X-Men. So I was right, this takes place in the future. It has to do with the whole Age of Apocalypse. And it looks like a really interesting series. This is actually number 8, not number 1. But, you know, no big deal there. And that one was going for around 7 to 9. It's a pretty standard pricing there. Nothing really special about it. That is also a variant, too. That's an Humberto Ramos variant. Big fan of the artist. So, again, it's cool that they're giving variant editions of each comic. Now, the last one, the International Iron Man. This is a variant cover as well, and this is also signed. But this was extremely hard to value. So the variant cover was only going for about 6 to 8, like pretty much all the rest of these comics. Nothing special about it there. But the signature obviously adds some value. How much, I'm actually not sure on, because I could not find a single issue of this being sold pretty much anywhere. I couldn't find any. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that's a good thing because everyone who got the box is keeping it, or if that's a bad thing because it's just not that well known. And I tried to do some research on the artist, Marco D'Alfonso, and I couldn't find anything on him either. Information on, but not on his signatures. I couldn't find anything for sale with his signature on it. So I'm going to take that as he's not well known enough at this point to gain any notoriety. Otherwise, I would have found something on him. I would have found another comic by him or someone trying to collect it. So I'm assuming he's maybe not necessarily new to the comic book world, but not well known enough to really give it a lot of value. So that being said, I'm going to give this a value of $15 because the value of the comic was 6 to 8, and I'm totally guessing here, so this could be wrong. I'm taking a shot in the dark here. I want to give it some value because they did take the time to get the signature. They did take the time to give it a certificate of authenticity, so I want to give it some credit for that. So I'm going to say $15 on that. But it's really hard to say because, like I said, I don't think this artist is well known enough to where anyone would seek out that signature specifically, or even this comic specifically. It's just cool to have signatures and certificates and things like that. So that's where most of that comes from. But I really wish I could give it a more specific value, but without having more information, there's not much I can do on that. So that being said, that brings our value on the low end of $45 and on the high end of $50. Now this box, this costs around $20 a month for the box. The only bad news about it is that shipping is $8 on that, which is really expensive considering it's such a tiny box. I would assume it'd be cheaper because I thought they'd be able to ship them media mail, because you could ship books that way, but maybe that excludes comic books. I always ship mine media mail, and it's dirt cheap, so it kind of sucks that it's $8 for shipping, and there's tax on top of that. I'm assuming that depends on what state you're in, but yeah, there's tax on top of that, which is a bummer as well. So that brings our value up to almost $30 here, which is a little bit expensive. If it was just $20, it would be great, but now that they have to charge shipping and tax on top of that, it's almost $30, so now this becomes a much more expensive box. Now this is expensive as the regular comic book, and that comes with a lot of stuff. The good news is they do take the time to like pick out good issues. They're variant covers and things like that. Although none of them are like crazy rare or anything like that, you have the option of getting signatures like the polybag Batman issue, and they also do have regular signatures by people with certificates in there. So that's good. I like that they're mixing it up and making it for comic collectors and comic readers. That being said, since it's so much on shipping, you're only going to get about 50% more than what you paid for, which isn't bad. That's still good. That's still a lot more than you paid for, and I think they had really good choices, so that works out. But it's just going to be very difficult. I hope in the future they can find a cheaper way to ship it. Maybe there is a loophole where they can use media mail. I'm not totally sure on the laws on that. Maybe they're just playing it safe, but $8 is very expensive on such a small box because that's as much as all the other ones. So I hope they can figure out a way to figure that out. But other than that, I really like the books and I really like this box. I thought it was good and it would be enjoyable for comic readers, but the value isn't as high as it probably should be. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to give this box a 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy the issues. I did like that they put special thought into it. Signatures are always great, but the value wasn't as high as it could have been. That's the only reason. But 6 out of 10 is still a good score, and I still think it's worth checking out if any of you are into reading monthly comics. So, this has been the Comic Boxer, 6 out of 10 on the box. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Talk to you in the next video. Love you all. Peace.